Hey everybody, welcome to the infinite regression. Look at it. So infinite, so regressy. It's amazing, isn't it? Yes. Well, we have video games. We can't stay here in the infinite regression forever. Yes. We must play video type games. Today we're taking a look at Razorwire Nanowars. This is a game from Hammer and Raven. I do not know this developer, and I have no memory of purchasing this game, although apparently I did purchase it for myself. At some point or another, probably during a Steam sale, I picked up this game and said, "This looks good," and bought it with money that I earned doing that thing I do. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so what is this game and what makes it a thing? Well, as you can see here, Razorwire is all about being an immobile space type ship. So it calls itself a bullet hell shooter, but it doesn't really it doesn't really fit the category, but there's no category that this game truly fits in. Because as you can see, these are not bullets that are being shot here. These are, nanobug type infestations, and you play this stationary turret thingy, spaceshipy thingy bot over on one side of the screen. Anyway, and then your job is to hit the little buggy people with the wire part. Don't hit them with the little satellite thingy. Otherwise, it goes all cattywampus, and then you won't be able to kill more bugs with the razor wire. That's the whole point of the game. Kill lots of the little nano-buggy type thingies and collect lots of points so that you can climb the leaderboard and eventually be number one in the world at a game that most people have not heard of. So, yes, aim high, everyone. Aim high. Razorwire is, I hate to say it, it's a one-trick pony. Now look, when I first started playing this, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And that lasted about 30 seconds. And then I was like, wait, is this all there is to the game? And then I tried some unlockables and some upgradables after my first death in the game, and found that screen somewhat confusing, and also had a hard time knowing what was being unlocked and how it would actually help me in-game. I noticed no actual difference whatsoever when I returned to the game. Maybe I did it wrong? Okay, it shouldn't be that difficult. As someone who has browsed many an in-game store and unlocked a number of in-game unlockables in a ridiculous number of video-type games, it should not be a difficult thing for me to unlock stuff, but I legitimately can't tell whether or not I really actually unlocked anything in my playthrough, even though at one point I did notice the number of points that I had available to spend did go down. I also noticed no appreciable difference in gameplay, which is crazy town because, come on. You gotta make this thing, you gotta change it up somehow. But they didn't, and it kind of remains the same thing. It just gets more frantic, is all it gets. It gets more frantic as it goes along. Is there some strategy to this? A little bit. A little teeny tiny bit of strategy, especially in the later levels. But is it fun to play? Not a whole bunch. I wouldn't say that I hated it, but I also wouldn't say that I loved every minute of it. I generally tolerated it and found it a moderately acceptable diversion. which is not to say that it's the greatest thing I've ever played. It is quite the opposite of that, in fact. It's a weird thing because it's not a shooter, because you don't shoot. It says bullet hell, but these are not bullets, those are the enemies. And even if we thought it might be bullet hell, that's not what a bullet hell looks like, and not how a bullet hell plays. So, what is it exactly? It's kind of its own thing. The only thing I could think of in my years of gaming that compares to this is Quicks, or some might call it Kix because it's spelled with a Q, but there's no U after it. Qix. I always said Quicks when I was a kid. Other people may say Kix. I don't know if that debate has ever been resolved. If it has, let me know. Anyway, that game, you draw lines and you're trying to fill in area without getting touched by the enemies. You have a certain amount of area on the screen that you need to fill in by drawing little boxes. And if you get touched, then you die. You lose a life. You get shot back to where you started. That's how that goes. This is the closest relative to this game that I can think of, and it is not at all related. And I will say this, Quicks is more fun. It is more fun to play because this one you sort of waving your mouse back and forth. There are apparently controller settings. I didn't play it with a controller. I can't imagine that it would be better with a controller than it is with a mouse. And it just, I don't know, is kind of lackluster, friend. That's what I felt about it. It lacked luster. It lacked that nice, shiny sheen I enjoy on a video game that is thoroughly thought through and has a lot of depth, has a reason for you to come back to it again and again and again. I don't know if I'm ever coming back to this game. And it's not because it was awful or because it was embarrassingly bad. It was just boring, which in the world of video games is almost just as bad. The entire point of video games is to have fun, or so I've been told. And if I'm not having fun, then what am I doing? What am I doing? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this game, I give it a big old nope. Don't get it. Let me show you what the final score on this one actually is. It's 6 out of a possible 10 copies of Quicks for the Atari 5200. Quicks, that's an obvious reference, but why the Atari 5200? Because the 5200 is arguably the worst Atari home console ever made. Its controllers were awkward and bulky and awful to use, and most people hated them. And the 5200 is actually inferior to the 2600, which it was supposed to replace. Also, it has no backward compatibility, which the 7800 has. So if you have Quicks on the Atari 5200, that is arguably the worst one. Anyway, sorry. I know when I'm reviewing these games that this is somebody's darling. Somebody put hours and hours into the development of this little game. And I'm sorry that I didn't enjoy it, but I did not. You can't please everybody, and me, as a subset of everybody, was not pleased with this game. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for this one. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.